Nathaniel Wood, now 2-0 at featherweight, historically been a bantamweight in the UFC, fights one of the longer tenured guys in Andre Fili, who it's a little refreshing that he comes into the pre-fight presser saying, I don't feel like a tenured veteran. I don't feel like I have all the answers. I feel like I'm a 23-year-old kid who still has a lot to prove. So when you have a guy with all of this experience, when you have a guy, AJ, that is 3-1 in split decisions in his last 10 fights, when you have a guy who is decisioning everybody left and right and isn't particularly finishing fights, how much of an uphill battle is that going to be for Nathaniel Wood, who might not pack the biggest pop in his shot, but can definitely outspeed a lot of these guys at 145?
It's a massive hill, Derek, especially with the hunger and the what's the word I'm looking for? Like qualifications that Andre Fili has. This dude's seen it all, done it all, yet still hungry for more. It's a hell of a mountain, man. Andre Fili, you said it. Nathaniel Wood, he's fast, he's speedy, he can do that. Well, guess who else is fast and speedy? The guy on the other side of the cage, Andre Touchy Fili. There's a reason his nickname is Touchy. This guy will hit you from spots you're not seeing, touch you up a little bit and dip out before you even know what's up. Nathaniel Wood. Now, the thing that excites me about Nathaniel Wood, Derek, he fights in a fast way, but in a way that works for him to be compact, to be solid, to be smooth and fast. He's not really loose in there. He's not making all these big motions. He doesn't rely on his speed. The speed comes from the technique, and he's very technically sound. I really like Nathaniel Wood for exactly that thing. Now the old question gets posed, Derek. Does the crazy versus the technique really work in this one? Which one will be the better, the flash or just the consistent boil? What do you think?
I think the technique is probably going to reign supreme in this one, but it is tough because Fili, even though he's not the wildest guy, right, in terms of his technique, not the most wild. We've seen much more unconventional, crazy guys. But I do think that if Wood loses focus for 5 seconds in the fight, Fili can crack him with something that will be able to rock him, then I think it's going to be a little bit of trouble. Now, you have Nathaniel Wood, who's predicting a finish in this fight. He's saying, I think I'm going to get Andre Fili out of there. Well, if you look at Andre Fili, I mean, the man in his losses, Joe Anderson Brito, I mean, that's a specimen athletic dude who you can forgive a TKO loss there. Really, aside from that, he hasn't been finished in a long time, man, since at least 2017, 2018. But on the other hand, he also has only one finish in that same stretch of time, bro. So it's like Andre Fili, this is the other theme that I didn't bring up yet. Andre Fili goes on the road to London, right? You're fighting in the home enemy territory, right? And you think he's going to decision Nathaniel Wood? Like, that's the part right there where I'm like, you have to take that part into consideration, too. I think Nathaniel Wood thoroughly outpoint Andre Fili. I think it's a back-and-forth close battle. But I think that the one thing that Andre Fili will not be able to keep up with, I truly do believe, is that speed of Nathaniel Wood. Even though he's touchy, even though he'll just pop you up here and there, I think Wood has put it on display in his last 2 fights, man. He's faster than these guys, and he makes it work. So what do you think?
I agree with you. I actually see this one going to a decision as well, Derek. I think the chess match they're going to have, like you were saying with the Dan Hardy quote, that's going to last for a little bit. But once this one becomes a fight, then we're going to really see how these guys kind of falter and where the steps are going to be taken. And I think Nathaniel Wood is going to falter less. Unfortunately for Touchy Fili, he's seen a lot of those things, but I'm always curious to see how he actually grows from there. Well, this is another answering point for him. He's had a lot of them, like you said. He's had a lot of these contentious matches. So a lot of split decisions on his record. Some going his way, a couple knockouts. Joe Anderson Brito, can't count him against it. But still, all of those instances weigh on his head in that fight once those hard moments come. Once Nathaniel Wood is still in there, crisp as can be, do those other shots kind of start to creep in? Does that experience kind of hold down an anchor for Touchy Fili? I'm curious, man. It's an interesting.
I'm curious too. And when you look at it, it's not the biggest discrepancy in their records, man. It's 19-5 for Wood. So what is that? My math sucks. 24 fights, right? 24. Andre Fili, we're looking at about like 30 or so, right? Like 31. So it's not that much of a discrepancy. I just will say this, man. I think that for Andre Fili, the other thing you have to take into consideration is if he gets put on his back too much in this fight and just gets controlled, because we know Nathaniel Wood, BJJ brown belt, this dude got some sick takedowns, good control. I think that's the other factor. If this is a pure striking match, much closer fight. But given those extra, this is MMA, you know what I mean? I like Nathaniel Wood. I like the upswing. And going off of the picks that you had mentioned earlier, I like the momentum of Nathaniel Wood here. So give me that one. Give me a decision, Nathaniel Wood. I like the minus 190. I'm not really putting too much stock in that plus 550 TKO, but how do you see it, AJ?
Yeah, I'm not really putting too much stock in that 550 or that 850 submission, Derek. I'm with you on the decision. I think this one's going to be more of a back and forth brawl. It's going to be a very fun fight. Give me Nathaniel Wood and give me the decision.
All right, fair enough.